Yeah.
Did you feel like when you got to the league, there was any adjustment in terms of just figuring out what like 48 minutes in the NBA is versus playing overseas?
Yeah, for sure. But the other thing is in Europe, the timeout is 1 minute, and you don't have as many timeouts. Here you have, if you have play TV game, you have like 4 minutes timeout. You can go get a beer and come back, to play. But it's everything is just, the game is longer, but it's more intense too. So I think it's kind of both ways.
Let's go back to Europe. Let's go back to young Luka, even prior to signing with Real Madrid, when you started playing basketball. What was it about the game? What was it about basketball that made you fall in love with it?
Well, my father played, so I was always in contact with basketball. Every time he had a game in the halftime or before the game, I was gonna shoot. Even if I couldn't hit the rim because I was 3 years old, but I was always with the ball playing. And just since then, I always liked basketball. I was playing a lot of sports. I think they helped me a lot in basketball, but I was only good at basketball, so that's why I decided to play basketball.
When did you sort of develop the flair of your game? Was that after going to Real Madrid at 13, or was that even as a young player in Slovenia? In terms of the no-look passes, the behind the back, the step backs, did you have that flair and that shit to your game even back then?
I wouldn't say so, but I think the most underrated part about me is passing. I really like passing. The court vision is something something I even had when I was little. I saw what people are gonna do, how they're gonna guard me, and where the passes go. But I think just through the year, just playing basketball, learning. I didn't really use the step back in Europe, but then I did it against Houston in my first year, and they say, "Oh, you have a great step back," and since then I've been doing the step back. I didn't really
You did it against Houston? You did it in the game? You hadn't practiced it really?
No, I never before. I never really practiced the step back. But since then, it was I scored 3 threes and a 2 against Houston. At the end of the game, it was 3 step backs. And then everybody said, "Oh, you got the step back." And since then, I've been practicing step backs, man. It's been working good.
Did you feel like your instinct, because your just basketball instinct has been that way since you started playing, or did you have a period when you were younger where you felt mentally a switch flipped and you kind of figured it out?
No, I wouldn't say switch. I would say just like I said, through the years, when I was in Madrid, I was always playing with the older guys. So I could learn a lot from them. Then with 16, I started to practice with the first team. And, you just watch and then try to do it on the court and just learn from that. Yeah.
Looking back on your draft class, it's shocking that you were not the number 1 pick, given your resume. Did you care where you went in the draft? Was there a point of pride? Because we've talked to Cade Cunningham was adamant that he would be the number 1 pick. He wanted to be the number 1 pick. Was it a point of pride for you to be the number 1 pick? Did that matter at all?
No, not at all. Not at all. And I didn't care where I was going. I didn't know any cities. I didn't know it was good city or was bad city. I was just happy to be drafted in the NBA, and that was everything. But I think I got the best destination I could possibly get. And just to have Dirk as a mentor there is just unbelievable.
In terms of the NBA and your rookie year coming over, were you surprised at all by your success, your immediate success that you had? How much of an adjustment on the court was it?
Yeah, I was surprised. I think it's my second year, I would say, when I started, playing way better than my rookie year. I was surprised, when I came to the NBA, I never expected to be, this good of scorer. I was never really a scorer, but, I was really surprised, yeah.
Where do you go? Because we talked with Jason Tatum about this, and he's when you when you do really well as a young player and those expectations are then placed on you, you can continue to be at that level, but then it's like disappointment if you're not making another jump. Like where does the jump happen? What's the improvement?
Well, obviously, there's one thing, NBA championship. I mean, that's all I wanted. That's all I want. I mean, that's my goal, and that's the only goal I have. And I hope one day it happens. That's all. That's next jump.
Do you like entertain MVP talks? Does that matter to you?
I mean, obviously, if you get MVP votes, a conversation obviously matters, because you're talking about the best league in the world and being MVP. It's awesome, but I would always prefer the NBA championship before MVP.
No.
Do you have certain guys around the league that you either like to play against or even just like to watch play?
Oh yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, a lot. Oof. But I think number one is KD, man. When I watch him play, it just looks way too easy. It's just unbelievable, man.
Does he make this? We talk about this with him a lot, but like, how easy it is for him to score? Does that ever, even for somebody like you, make you a little bit like envious that he can just do whatever he wants all the time?
I think everybody feels like that, man. It's just, I don't know, man. It just looks too easy. Like, if you see him, you can say everybody can do it, but only he can do it, man. It's just unbelievable the way he scores the ball.